The Outsider set out to make a rhythmic first-person shooter. Although not the first of its kind, Metal Hellsinger is the first rhythm FPS that I have ever played, and I can say without a doubt that this game is fucking amazing. As for all rhythm games, one of the main things is to stay on beat, since that's the point of rhythm. Water is wet, I know, shocking. Only this time, this time, it's important to shoot on beat. With 6 unique weapons and 7 sigils that boost your abilities throughout your carnage in the 8 hells. On a journey to reclaim your voice. So with that out of the way, let's get started, starting with the gameplay. As stated earlier, the gameplay consists of gun, sword, and skull play.
You're a skull, fuck you!
Killing enemies on beat and racking up that sweet high score, with powerful weapons and skills to help you do so. At the start of the game, you start with your sword and Paz, and unlock the rest as you make your way through the 8 hells. The sword terminus has a rapid slash that changes the beat and the tempo of the song, and finishes off stunned enemies when you do enough damage to them. Persephone is the shotgun of the game, deadly up close and even from far away with its fiery blast that absolutely melts multiple enemies. The Hounds are dual pistols and are personally my favorite weapon. They're just so fucking cool. And are probably some of the easiest weapons to stay on beat with. And they also let you create a shadow clone, no jutsu, that fires out enemies to take some of the pressure off. The Vulcan is a long-range crossbow and is the strongest weapon in the game that fires off exploding bolts. But the drawback to how strong those bolts are is how low the ammo count is. At only 2 shots, you'll be reloading this weapon frequently, so mind your timing and your aim. Good thing the Vulcan's special shot is a gravity shot that holds all of the enemies caught in the blast for a few seconds, so you can get some shots off and get fucking drunk. The Hellcrow are 2 razor boomerangs that slice through foes and always come back for dinner, with a special that lets you rock out with your cock out, while a flow of Hellcrows cleave through the forces of hell with a protective barrier. And lastly, Paz, the skull. He's important, but we'll talk about him later for the story section of this video. Anyway, he shoots fireballs that are not very strong. He's probably the easiest weapon to time the beat of the music with, and is a great tool to keep your fury bar up. Not only that, his ultimate, as you would call it, causes nearby enemies to become frozen for a short time, and killing said enemies causes them to explode, and can possibly take out others if you position them well. And speaking of the fury bar mentioned a while ago, how it works is really simple. You kill demons, it fills. You get hit or go off beat, it drops. And if you do really well, you can actually start to hear the vocals of the song. And I think it's a great choice to have you start the level not hearing the vocals, since it gives you time to become familiar with the stage and the beat, building up to this amazing ass soundtrack.
The seat of law. It all began and ended here.
And that brings me to one of my issues with the game, sadly. Why didn't this game come out with a soundtrack? Like, man, I want to bump this in my car with all of its headbanging glory. And I think it's really funny that headbanging is a viable strategy. I remember watching some of the trailers, and one of the developers was talking about it, and I was like, no way, this actually works. Then playing the game, oddly enough, it's actually a viable strategy. Jumping back on track to my main issue with the game, please, 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 release the soundtrack with the game. Please. I'd love you forever. Almost forgot to mention the torments after writing the entire script and recording almost all of it. After clearing the stage, you can complete challenges, which you can gain sigils that give you special abilities. Like, one of my favorite skills to unlock is the ghost rounds. When you switch weapons, you can fire for 8 shots and not lose ammo. Gaining fury when you get perfect hits, you get the point. They all do sorts of crazy shit. Doing the torments are not only important because you can unlock new skills, boons to mix and match, along with create builds for endless replayability. You can learn a few things, like, I didn't know that you could slaughter enemies from a distance. I think the game told me, but I'm pretty sure it didn't. I'm pretty sure that I didn't know you could do this, but hell, I'll take it. Joking aside, I guess it's time to talk about some of my issues with the game. Myself and others online found this glitch with the achievements. Mainly the completed all torments trophy, but after playing the torments a couple times it popped up, so I'm glad it didn't take that long. Sadly, it's something to be aware of. I know this will probably be fixed by the time I'm writing/recording this, and it has because they just dropped a patch. So, that's good. And just to name a few, getting stuck on walls, enemies falling through floors in the torment stages, and getting caught on ledges while trying to jump. Also, the boss fights are kind of samey. Look, I know they're all different aspects of the Red Judge that reside over the 8 Hells, but they all look like clones of each other. But honestly, they don't take that much away from me personally, since these were such rare occurrences and slight nitpicks. I'm completely aware that this game has a smaller budget, but I'm still going to be honest for people who are interested. The movement in this game feels great. I especially love jump dashing over enemies and shooting and slicing them up from behind. It makes me feel like a ballerina of death. That's coming for your fucking lights, bit. It gives me strong Doom 2016, Doom Eternal vibes. Just don't stand still for too long. Enemies will swarm you from all directions. This clip here is what happens when you stand still for too long. You just get fucking pancaked. So that's about it from the gameplay. So now it's time to dive into the stories section of this video. If you don't want to be spoiled, if you care about that kind of thing, skip to this time that you see on the screen. Just know, if you do, I hate you. You play as the Unknown, a demon who had her voice taken away by this game's antagonist, the Red Judge. So after being sealed away, she finds the skull Paz. After completing the tutorial, you begin your path of vengeance. One of the things I really love about the music is how it reflects how the Unknown feels. And I feel like the best example is that from the song in the second level of the game, Stygia. while you clear stages, you learn more about the character's backstory, since in this game, souls that are sent to hell start to lose their memories after being in hell for some time. You learn that there's a prophecy about this demon known as the Hellsinger, tearing through the hells and eventually making her way to heaven. And the Red Judge is doing her best to keep that from happening every step of the way, throwing everything she had at the unknown, even angels from heaven. But even that failed, like miserably. Eventually, the unknown learns after defeating the Red Judge that Paz and her rebelled against the All, or this game's version of God, and the Red Judge didn't even have all of her voice, and if she wants the rest, she's gonna have to go and assault heaven. A rift opens up and they fly through, leading their way into the human world. Some time passes and we learn that the demons have spilled into the human world and everything has gone to shit. Unknown finds Paz in a bar, and they link up after some time. Now it's time to finally assault the heavens. After going into the story, you can see that it's not very long, or too drawn out, and it's easy to get into, so I like that. I like the length of it. So I didn't even know that Troy Baker did voices for this game. Like, I didn't even recognize him, because I guess he voices Paz. I didn't even recognize him until I looked it up. So what can I say? This game has some really solid voice acting. And the art style for the cutscenes and the games in general is just, mwah, chef's kiss. Quinks loves his art, what can I say? I just hope that the developers can make the next game, Metal Hellsinger, even more awesome. And I really hope they call it that. Like, please. Please. So in conclusion, this game is amazing, and you should go buy it. And you should probably definitely expect to see more content on the channel sometime in the near future. Maybe some challenge runs? Only time will tell. So, stay squishy, y'all. Like and subscribe too.